This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for February 17, 2023. And in the news this afternoon, Panton charged for SSL fraud, other perpetrators on radar. Former Stocks and Securities Limited wealth advisor Jean Ann Panton was this morning slapped with several charges in relation to the multi-billion-dollar fraud scandal. Panton, who is scheduled to appear in the Supreme Court later today, was charged with breaches of the Larceny Act, the Proceeds of Crime Act, the Forgery Act, and the Cybercrimes Act. The Financial Investigations Division has said it will seek to prefer additional charges on Panton and other perpetrators. FID, which is leading the investigation alongside the police fraud squad, said it still cannot quantify the overall fraud, but confirmed the prior report that Jamaican athletics star Usain Bolt had been fleeced of approximately US $12.7 million, or nearly Jamaican $2 billion. The fraud is believed to be at least $3 billion Jamaican dollars. Norman Peart, Bolt's former manager, whose signature appears to have been forged, cooperated with investigators and had never been treated as a suspect, FID said. As the investigation progresses, we wish to assure the public that the work into unraveling this fraud is thorough and includes a collaboration with local and international agencies. Various lines of inquiry are being pursued with a view to identifying all connected parties and bringing them to justice, Selvin Hay, FID's chief technical director, said. Investigators have described the case as complex because of the number and the types of accounts affected, the number and the types of transactions conducted, and because the alleged fraud occurred over a decade. Prior to charges being laid, Panton was grilled by investigators February 14 to 16, weeks after searches were conducted on two premises in the corporate area. This resulted in the seizure of documents and electronic devices, including telephones, which continue to be analyzed. Panton is represented by attorney Tamika Harris. He said that investigators have been working with the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions in marshalling the evidence. We have had to be deliberate and meticulous in the process of verifying and authenticating the information and intelligence received so far. When the matter is presented in the court, our submissions must demonstrate clear, irrefutable evidence against all who stand accused, he said. PSOJ appalled by IC's actions in Wholeness Probe reporting. The private sector organization of Jamaica says it is appalled that the Integrity Commission released a report with adverse findings against the Prime Minister Andrew Holness, but failed to reveal the ruling by the Director of Corruption Prosecution that the findings did not give rise to prosecutable offenses and no charges would be brought. In a media release Friday, the PSOJ demanded that a swift and thorough response be provided by the Integrity Commission regarding the reason for the insufficiency of reporting on the investigation. The report, which cited allegations of potential conflict of interest regarding the award of government contracts during the period 2006 to 2009, was brought to local and international attention following its tabling in Parliament on Tuesday without the release of the final ruling. The consequences of that egregious act has resulted in irreparable damage being occasioned to the office of the Prime Minister, the highest elected office in the country, by virtue of the public opprobrium which understandably resulted from the partial disclosure, the PSOJ said in the media release. The PSOJ said incalculable damage has been imposed on the country's brand, even as we arduously work to root out corruption at all stages of our society. It added that the Office of the Integrity Commission has been brought into disrepute by the careless or intentional omission, particularly given its integral role in holding public officials to the highest standard of integrity and ethics. The PSOJ said Jamaicans have a right to know the truth about the Commission's actions. If the truth is that the processes of the Integrity Commission lack efficiency or competence, we must know and the consequences must follow, including, but not limited to, the resignation of whomever is responsible, it said. One in custody after firearm and ammo found under mattress in St. James. Police seized one firearm and several rounds of ammunition during an operation in Hollywood, Norwood in St. James on Thursday. Reports are that about 4 p.m., a police team acting on information conducted a targeted operation at a premises. The house was searched and a 9mm Taurus pistol, along with a magazine containing 6 cartridges, was found under a mattress on the floor of a room. One man was taken into custody in relation to the seizure. Chef shot and killed in Pimento Walk, St. Anne. A man was shot and killed by gunmen in Pimento Walk, St. Anne on Friday morning. He has been identified as 31-year-old Chef Miguel Hyman, otherwise called Shane of Pimento Walk. Reports are that at about 12:12 a.m., residents heard explosions and summoned the police. When the lawmen arrived, Hyman was found suffering from gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead at hospital. A resident stated that she heard the sounds and texted her neighbor immediately. "Me hear them and me text my friend same time and say a gunshot them day. When me reach her work this morning, me hear say somebody get shot for true," she said. She said she is appalled by the incident. "What you get out of hand? A years now me no hear nobody get shot in a Pimento Walk. No man, this serious," she expressed. Banks are considering reducing cash levels in ABMs due to frequent theft. The Jamaica Bankers Association says the recent escalation in theft and vandalism of automated banking machines could lead to a reduction of the cash levels available at ABMs and the possible removal of the machines altogether from high-risk locations. The association says any of the measures under consideration to protect the machines will unfortunately lead to some form of inconvenience for customers. It says the costs associated with the operation and the maintenance of an ABM are significant to financial institutions. These include recurrent costs for software, security, electricity, servicing, and cash replenishment. The JBA adds that when an ABM is stolen, a replacement is often not readily available. These machines are ordered in bulk quantities, which have significant lead times for delivery. The Jamaica Bankers Association is asking people with information about ABM theft or vandalism to share this information with the police. In the Wandon gang trial, cell tower evidence does not establish that alleged Wandon gang leaders were communicating from custody. Chief Justice Brent Sykes has warned that the inference the prosecution is seeking to draw from cell-site tower evidence that the alleged leader of the Wandon gang, Andre Blackman Bryan, and his alleged deputy Jason Brown were in custody while communicating with the main witness between January and August 2019 is impossible to establish. Justice Sykes cautioned that although cell site data placed some members of the alleged criminal network in the vicinity of police lockups and remand centers, the Crown had not established that the defendants were in custody. Earlier in the trial, the court was told that Blackman was taken into custody in March 2019. The judge argued that the expert who testified about the operation of cell sites and their function had admitted that he was unable to say definitively that the defendants were in custody when the calls were made. The expert also admitted that the defendants could have been anywhere in the vicinity of cell towers that captured the signal. On Thursday, the judge argued that the Crown failed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendants were in custody and made the call. Earlier in Wednesday's proceedings, Justice Sykes reiterated that the evidence from the country's two main telecoms providers was useless as it failed to meet the legal standards, but he said the names and the numbers assigned to most of the defendants were properly attributed by an expert witness. Justice Sykes questioned what reasonable explanation there was for the names and the numbers of the defendants to be in the witnesses' telephone contacts. He noted that the defendants have not sought to seriously address this point. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.